Skylar. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Delphology 101. Thank you all for coming. I did not expect this panel to be this popular, and I also submitted it as a joke, so thank you so much. I really appreciate everyone's support. So welcome to Dilfology 101. This is the first course in a 4-year degree for bachelors of fine dads. I'm Kira. I have a PhD in Dilfology. Here's my PhD. I'll show it up also on the slideshow. This is my TA, Frank. This is a requirement course for your Bachelor's of Fine Dads, but it's also an elective course for those who are interested in the study of Osanology, or Osanology. So, for those who are interested in old men, but not necessarily the dads.
Oh, and I'm also here as an example of a DILF.
Actually, no. You are 28 and child-free.
What? I'm what authority? Oh. So I'm letting you absorb this image for a bit. So I made this image in September of 2021 as an act of vengeance. And I also need you to know that this panel is also an act of vengeance. It is indeed Batman. So here's a close-up of my PhD, just so anybody that's doubting my credentials or isn't close enough to the front of the room, so you can see that I do have a PhD of Dilfology. I graduated from Osanology University. Anybody who knows me knows me. Batman, anyways. So first, we're going to start off with what are DILFs, the taxonomy and classification. This is probably the most advanced part of the course, so make sure that you pay attention carefully, because there's a lot of people that mess this up, which is where my active vengeance comes from. Also, I did give all of you worksheets. All of the information and all the correct answers on it will be provided throughout the panel. You're welcome to fill it out, and also have a feedback section at the end if you wanted to say anything nice or anything really new. So first, there's 2 exact requirements to be a DILF. Only 2. And note that I did choose the wording on this very carefully, and I will explain that in further slides. So the only 2 requirements, as explained by the abbreviation, which is Dad, I like to fuck, is you must be a dad, biological or adopted children is okay, and you must be objectively fuckable. Now, this question was brought up to me earlier by one of the members of this audience, who asked me, is Gru a DILF? And I said, does he seem objectively fuckable to you, Alan? And so I provided an example of an inarguable DILF. This is Phoenix Wright, aka Phoenix Wright, after he adopts Tristan. Like, I don't know, how do you look at him? Just look at him. Absorb him into your mind for a little bit.
He looks like he smokes mid.
Indeed. So I have some clarifications. This is controversial choice. It is very controversial. Actually, so when I posted this meme in September of 2021, I got a lot of people mad at me. And they're like, why isn't Deborah on there? Well, here's the reason. Here's the reason. In the abbreviation DILF, it never says you have to be a good dad. I'll refer back to this slide where I will point out that 6 of the people on this slide are mass murderers.
4, and just like look at him, and then he is hot and he becomes really sad and pathetic later. So how is he not lovable? That's all I have to say. I also have, this is a subgenus of the gilf, aka grandpa, I like to call. I put monkey D garf because he's a grandpa, just like, you know. He's got layers, like an onion. I would say that, does Shrek have kids? I haven't bothered to watch it. Does he have 3? Do you think that Shrek is fuckable? Okay, so this panel exemplifies what my act of vengeance is. Because here's the thing, none of the characters on this are fathers. They are not adults, they do not have adopted children. I am tired of seeing people say that they are adult. Because, here's the thing, I like Nanami and Kakashi and Leorio and Reagan and Aizawa as much as the next person. What you like are Osan. They are not dilfs. So here, let me explain. So what are not dilfs? Teachers. If they are only a teacher and they don't have children, I put Kakashi or Aizawa here as an example. Neither of them have kids. I don't think any of them want kids. Kakashi explicitly did not want to have the students. He is not a father. He does not have kids. He goes and retires in the onsen or whatever with Mike Guy in a very heterosexual way. Dog children are not kids, which is why I will say that Scott is not a dilf. Anyways, older brother figures like Leorio, I don't even know why you would call him that. He's not a dad. Also, I think he's like 16. Child-free men, Frank.
Fine.
Since you must be a dad, if you're child-free, you're automatically not a dilf. None of these people have children. I don't think any of them are like, I would never put a child under their parental care, ever. Like, would you look at Reagan and be like, oh man, this guy takes great care of his kid? Have you seen all of season 2? The answer is no. He does not take great care of his kid. Employers.
What did you work for your dad?
You should know how that went.
It went pretty well.
But now you don't work for him. And would you also call your dad a dilf? Because that's like weird. Mentor figures, not only Kento is a good example. Military commander is also a good example. Not a dad. You just like Osan or you have a problem. And that's okay. You're allowed to like older men. Obviously I do. So some people ask why dilfs. I tried to narrow it down. There's a lot of exceptions. So I did narrow the attributes and virtues of dilfs down to two common attributes, which are they are sexy and also they are old. There are other attributes that may factor in to being a dilf, but they're not required because not all dilfs fulfill them. So I said experience sometimes. Here's an example. Kiryu has never touched a woman in his life. Probably, right? Well, he touches them, but he doesn't, he's a virgin. He's not experienced. There's no sexiness in Kiryu's experience because he does not have any. However, many dads do. So that is not a requirement, but is often a bonus. Stable sometimes. I don't know how many of you have seen Showa Genoku Rakugo Shinju. I will talk about it later on. But Sugaroku and Showa Genoku Rakugo Shinju is a dilf. He is not stable at all. That dude's an alcoholic and forces his child to do child labor in order to provide for their family. He is very fuckable though, so he's not a dilf. And then mature sometimes. I say mature sometimes because if you ever watch Tiger and Bunny, you can watch Kotetsu make fun of somebody 11 years younger than him like 100 times. Every single time they go, can you stop doing that? And he goes, no, I'm still going to make fun of you. So that's, like, all of these things, you know, obviously there are many dilfs that are stable, and obviously there are many that are mature, but it's not a prerequisite. It's just something that is a bonus. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Osanology. Okay, so the thing is what people often confuse Delphology for is actually just Osanology. You just like, oh man, that's fine. I do, obviously. I made this slideshow. I made this panel. I submitted it as a joke because I thought it was funny, and then... Okay, so let me explain. None of these people on here are DILFs. None of them have children. None of them have adopted children. They're all very sexy. I put them on here because they are, and I wanted to spread the joy. But I'll just talk about them very briefly. On the way left, we have Nihongo from Token Rambu. And then right next to him is Charlotte Katakuri from One Piece. Next to him is En from Dorohedoro. Next to him is Daisuke Jigen from Lupin. And then next to him is Tatsu from Raiden's Club. And then Scar from Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. And then Smoker, also from One Piece. Osanology is a very valid study. It's just separate. It's a sister study to Dilfology because it's a larger, like Dilfology fits in within Osanology, but not all Osans are Dilfs. So who and where are dilfs? I have several species and habitats. I'm going to talk about, I think, 5 or 6 series where the main character or very significant, like the protagonist character, is a dilf. And then I have a big list of dilfs that are not main characters. I think I literally have like 30 dilfs. I was doing a lot of research.
Lots of research.
So the first is Tiger and Bunny. I had to give it the respect it deserves. The first season came out in 2011, which is the year of the bunny. The second season came out in 2022, which is the year of the tiger. They made us wait 11 years for that marketing ploy. So Tiger and Bunny, as a brief synopsis so that I make all of you watch it. It's a superhero anime, but it's like, oh, what if superheroes are managed by media companies and then they all had sponsorships and were restricted kind of by like what got TV ratings in order to do their hero work. This is the main character, Kotetsu. He's a father. He has a young child named Kaide who he's a little estranged from because he has to hide being a hero. He's really stupid and he's voiced by Hiroaki Hirata, so he's really likable. That's the same that guy that voices like Sanji, for example. I want you to just look at him because he's really stupid, but he's really hot. There's 2 seasons. Half of the second season is on Netflix, and the entire first season is also on Netflix. I think they're going to release the second half of season 2 after like the 13 weeks ends, but they've released the 13 episodes. Also, there's 2 movies, and a spin-off that's claimed to be a spin-off, but actually has nothing to do with the series. They're just using it for the Tiger Bunny Cloud. Okay, everybody in this room that knows me, every single person in this room that knows me is like audibly groaning right now. So this is Gintama. It is 367 episodes long, and it has 3 movies, 1 of which is canon and 2 of which is not. The main character is Gintoki. He's the one with the sword stuck in his ass that's actually like an entire arc. But Gintoki is referred to as one of the female leads' Earth dad. She has like a space dad, but she also has an Earth dad. He's really stupid. I did choose him also specifically because on many fronts he does fulfill, he does match attributes with a lot of the other characters I named and shamed earlier, like Nanami, or my least favorite person in the world, Gojo, or Kakashi, where he's like, oh, I'm 28 and I've never had biological children, I'm also probably a virgin. But he's a father, so he deserves to be on here. I also have Katakuriko Matsudaira, voiced by Norio Wakamoto. And then also Sasaki Isaburo, who are all fathers. This is a series where the main character is a father who discovers how it's worth it to live again after meeting a bunch of idiotic people that break him out of his depression. It's an episodic comedy. It's set in Edo period Japan, except it's like, oh, what if aliens invaded, which is how they like excuse having Nintendos and cars. I have Ace Attorney. There's a lot of dads in here. A lot of people want to fuck a lot of them, but I chose Phoenix specifically because he's my favorite. This is his daughter. Actually, funnily enough, this is his actual daughter, like his adopted actual daughter, but they almost never really shown in art together. And I was like, interesting. But I already showed him earlier, so I don't have to spend that long. Also, Ace Attorney is a game that I'm sure most of you know, so I don't know if I have to spend that much time explaining it. I have Shogun Rokuraga Shinji. This may or may not be like maybe one of the primary reasons why I decided to do this segment of the panel. It's very, very, very sad. It's about rakugo, which is a style of Japanese theater where there's only one person, they basically monologue the whole story. These first two pictures here are Sugoroku and his child Konatsu. He's the one that's an alcoholic and forces her to do work for him because he's too depressed to get out of bed. And also it's really hard to see, but one of the other main characters, Yotaro, is also a father. And then they show him when he's like in his 50s and he's really hot. It is 2 seasons and 25 or 26 episodes. It's very sad, it's very clear. The main character is Kikuhiku Sugoroku and he's objectively a bad person, but that's what makes him really interesting. I have Vinland Saga. The main Dilf that I have listed here, it's not really a spoiler because you find out in the first chapter, but he's actually dead for almost all of the series. He's really hot and he is like the primary motivation for the main character, which is here. And it's about Vikings. It follows the story of a guy who lives a life of vengeance before deciding to try to get forgiveness and figure out how to be a good person, what can bring peace. It's got an anime, which is 25 or 26 episodes, and it's also got a manga that's very good, almost done. Also, you should like look at him. Do you see him? Do you want to like stroke his hair tenderly and like pat his beard? All right.
Yeah!
I've learned my lesson. There's a minor spoiler here for of course, writing, so don't, But, so let's talk about this. Obviously, Otakon in Metal Gear Solid 4 is hot as fuck. He's absolutely gorgeous. I want to kiss him right now. And then he has an adopted daughter with Old Snake, right? Who is also, let's be honest here, hot as fuck, once again. At the end of the game, we discover that Raiden is also a dad, and his sexy ninja ass that you need to stare at the entire time during Metal Gear Solid 2 is fan-friggin-tastic. So, and of course, Old Snake is a clone of Big Boss. So of course Big Boss is fuckable too.
Also, for those of you who are not like necessarily voice actor people, just so you know.
Big Boss is the guy who his DNA was taken so that they could make Snake.
I got it.
He's got these.
The guy that Akio Otsuka voices, which is one of the many snakes.
Yeah. So Akio Otsuka, which is the VA of Solid Snake, had his father Chikawa Otsuka featured in MGS4 as old Big Boss's VA.
So his actual dad voices his dad in the game.
Which makes him even more dilftastic.
Akio Otsuka voices a lot of people that are really sexy. So okay, so I started to compile a long list. I've compiled a long list of Dilfs. These are not necessarily the hashtag main characters, or it's not like their hashtag main role. but I wanted to propagate a lot of things because that's the kind of person I am. So I actually have like 3 more slides that are exactly this condensed of a bunch of sexy dilfs. Would you like me to go through and read them and talk about them a little bit, or does that? Okay, so at first I have Kabaragi from Decadence. This is him. Look at him, he's very sad. He's like, man, I have depression. Decadence is very good. It aired a couple seasons ago. The basic premise of it makes it seem like it's a really shitty isekai, but it's not, because it's like not really an isekai. But this guy basically is like, man, I have no purpose in life, and I'm just gonna live life until I die very blandly. And then he meets a girl that he's like, oh, you're actually teaching me that life is worth living, and he decides to put his life on the line to protect her. I have Todoroki Enji from My Hero Academia. Also, I did put pictures of dilfs that I featured previously in it because I'm hoping that, like, well, if I did that, I'd have to, like, I'd have to fill up the whole thing. I just didn't have the room for that. So I have Todoroki Enji from My Hero Academia. Yes. I have the baker from Kiki's Delivery Service. He has a name, but nobody knows him by the name, so I didn't put the name down. It's like. I like looked it up once, and then I was like, I have no idea who that is, so I just put him as the baker. I have Kazuma Kiryu from the Yakuza game series. He is not a dilf for most of the series, but then by the end of the series, he does have like an adopted daughter, and also he like runs an orphanage for a while. So I have Goshi from Beastars. He's a gilf. He's like Goshi's grandfather. Please don't look at me, but he is a sexy lizard man. So. I have Fujimoto Shiro from Our Exorcist. I would say age-wise he's a gilf, but role-wise he is a dilf. He's like a nice combination of like both of them. Ooh, I don't know how to. Okay, but he's Rin's father from Blue Exorcist. Obviously, there's a lot of good dilfs by Hiromu Arakawa, who says that the men must be buffed and the women must be vavoon. But there's Van Hohenheim, Sid Curtis, King Bradley. There's also a King Bradley figure coming out for those that are really thirsty. They like sculpted his muscles, like his shirt is glued to his body, and you're like, man. I also discovered one recently where like they literally like it looked like they sculpted his pants, but it's like in his butt. Like I was like, why does he look like that? Suzuki Toichiro from Mob Psycho 100. He's the father of Suzuki Sho. He's evil, which makes him hot. And also. From a trending anime this season, Lloyd from Spy Family. Here's a bunch more. Unfortunately, I have read Naruto like 7 times, and I have a huge tangent on how much Kishimoto hates dilfs. But I have a bunch of them that are dilfs. Saitofi, Asuma, Hashirama Senju, Akimichi Shoza, Nara Shikaku, Yamanaki Nochi, etc., etc. There's a lot of them. I'm not going to name any of the characters that became fathers in Boruto because I firmly believe that none of them are fuckable in Boruto. Which is part of my issue with that man, besides all of the other things. But my biggest thing is that he nerfs every single dilf or possible dilf that could ever happen in his series. And I think most people that are also dilfologists would agree with me on this. Right before the con, I watched 109 episodes of Kingdom in 5 days, so I had to put all of my Chinese on Chinese crime men. So I have Meng Ao, who's this? He's a gilf actually. His son, Meng Wu, and then Wang Jin. They're all like fathers, and they're all like big, humongous, angry buffalo men. And then there's literally so many from One Piece. And also when I was doing this, I was like, damn, there's a lot of like old men in One Piece, but there's a lot of them that aren't fathers. So that's like pretty interesting that there's like a lot of both. But like Kozuki Oden, Gold Roger, Monkey D. Garp, Monkey D. Dragon, Yasop, King Neptune, King Cobra, Kaido, Kudos, and unfortunately Shanks. For those who are One Piece fans, there's a new One Piece film Red movie that is coming out. And in the trailer, they reveal that Shanks is a deadbeat dad. And so that I saw that, and I already completed my outline and stuff for this, and I was like, with reluctance, I shall put Shanks in here. Well, see, I mean, I really like Shanks, I just don't believe that I should be that nice to him. Here's a bunch more.